I didn't bring any branches with me, but these are the needles. These are the needles of that cedar. Can't really see very good there, but usually go out harvesting this all summer long. You know, around June already, end of June already, start to get new growth. And I harvest this all summer long, on and off when I'm traveling. A lot of it grows around Easterville, Grand Rapids area. And I do a lot of harvesting. I bring it home, I put it in a box. I do a lot of my harvesting with cardboard boxes. For me, I leave them there. Because the cardboard, it sucks the moisture out of the plant, out of the herb. It's kind of like sucking the moisture out of it. I don't like using plastic bags. But once it's dry, they're okay. So I don't take the whole branch of the tree either. I'll cut the tips of the branches on that tree. This way, I don't kill that whole tree. Mm. And I go back and those branches regrow from where I cut them. So that's how I sustain that tree. So once I cut all those branches off, I bring them home. And like I say, if I wanted to strip the needles off right away, I'll go backwards on them. But most of the time, I'll spread them out. When I get home, I'll try and spread them out. I use these kind of flat boxes, and I spread so it'll dry quicker for me. And once it dries, I'll strip the needles off the little branches. And sometimes I keep those branches because they're still a medicine. You can actually boil those up, make a cedar tea out of them, the branches alone. But I like using the branches with the needles on them. This winter, the spring year, when this COVID first hit, that's what I was drinking quite a bit. I didn't drink it every day. I only drink about half a cup every second day or so. It's a little bitter. But what it is, the cedar is good for your respiratory, kind of coats your lungs. It's just like having a smoke, that tar coats your lungs. Cedar does, the medicines do the same thing. Gives you a protective coating. So the cedar does that. It's the oil in it, so it kind of protects it. It kind of uses that. It's a prevention medicine, So this COVID, that's what it affects is your lungs, It gets into your lungs, so it's kind of it's a prevention medicine, when you drink it. But the cedar, like I say, for me, I'll strip the needles off the branches after they dry. I'll strip them into a box. But normally for me, sometimes I'll just hand crush them, break them down, and then I can put them in a blender and fine grind them into a powder. This is cedar, ground up cedar, and the needles. That's what this is in this bag. And you can use them by themselves like that. Some people put them into the medicine water in the sweat. And when they splash the grandfather, you smell that cedar. People, whoever's conducting the sweat, tell the people in the sweat lodge, breathe that in. That's medicine. So when you're breathing that cedar smell, you're actually helping yourself with building up your immune system and your lungs. But it is one of the needles that I use there for my 4 needle smudge there. That's a teaching by itself there too, that one. But I'm just doing the basic teaching here. And cedar is one of our main medicines. It's like the sage and the sweetgrass I presented before, and also that tobacco. We hear about those 4 main medicines. And cedar, like I say, is one of them. I remember when I was a child, we used to have wood stoves in the house all the time. And this thing used to hang over the door. They would bundle in the branches up in a little bundle and hang them over the door. And my grandmother used to say, that thing is to protect us. It's like a protection. And sometimes she would take them down, especially if it was going to be raining or thundering and lightning, just to alleviate the thunderbirds. And then she would put it on top of the stove and smoke all over it. Basically what she was doing was purifying the air. Some people call it fumigating because it's full of smoke. But it sounds better when you say purify.
Yeah.
And cedar is one of the needles that has a lot of It has a lot of vitamin C in them. A lot of pine needles, all kinds of pine needles have vitamin C. High vitamin C content at certain times of the year. When they first start coming out in the new sprouts, they have a sweet taste to them. You can actually chew the needles of any kind of needles. Rose needles, balsam needles, tamarack needles, all kinds of different. Go out to, take a few of them and chew them. They'll have a sweet taste to them. They kind of get bitter after they start maturing.
Mm-hmm.
They start getting that really strong odor of oil. That's oil in them. And when you do grind them up, you really smell that. When you're breaking up those needles with that grinding. Some people use coffee grinders. I use a blender. Now I use a new machine that I ordered called a Chinese commercial grinder. It does the job 10 times as fast. It's a stainless steel grinder, and I think it's worth the investment for people to buy that, especially if they're grinding a lot of medicine. So that's cedar for me. That's basically all I can say about cedar. It's a little teaching with it. Offer tobacco, offer out all the time. Offering tobacco is amazing. And some people will harvest the whole tree. They'll cut up the branches and the sticks. They'll actually, if they get a young sapling, they'll cut the tree down in about the size of their fist, about 4 or 5 inches. They'll take the bark off it. They'll boil that wood. It's kind of a reddish color.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like red tea, And that's one you can drink also. Again, it kind of protects you. It acts as a prevention medicine. So that's what that cedar does. A lot of these medicines are used that way. So that's cedar. All kinds of ceremonies. Some people, a lot of people use this at sun dances. That's their main smudge. That's the cedar. That's what they have box full of people that are sun dancing. They bring their own, and they gift that there to be used. Even when I go to Sundance, I'll harvest some of this. I want to go and support. When I go and support people, that's my gift there. I go put it there because I know it's going to be used. So everybody helps each other. It's a good medicine to have. And in Manitoba here, it grows around, like I say, east of the Grand Rapids area, and then it grows around going towards Kenora, Ontario, I believe, that #1 highway, and also by Broken Head, Fort Alec area. I've seen it growing there. I don't know if it grows anywhere else. That's only 2 places I know of. People phone me, where can I harvest cedar? I live in Winnipeg. I say the closest place for you to go is it'd be go past the casino. Don't look at the casino, I tell them. But I don't recognize it. They say, well, ask. When you ask a local person in Broken Head to go and show you, it's appropriate for you to offer them something. And you come and you go and show me this medicine. I want to harvest it. I want to know how to harvest it. That's what I use that for. This is good too when I tell people that are having walkout ceremonies for their children, grandchildren.
Yeah.
Use that as a walk. Use that where they're going to walk in the ceremonial ground.
Yeah.
So that young child actually blesses that cedar. And I said, once they step on that, walk on it, I said, pick it up. And I said, you bundle it up. You get these little branches, you bundle them up. Just like that sage bundle there. Just tie them up, with yarn. You gift it to the people that came there to come and help you with that ceremony, that walkout ceremony, I call it. Everybody uses different needles, but I told them cedar would be good. Use the cedar for that purpose. See that child is walking on Mother Earth for the first time. So that cedar, when that child walks on, it's actually protecting that child too.
Yeah.
Because like I say, it's a protection medicine. And at the same time, that child is blessing that cedar branches. So it works both ways. So that's, sometimes when I'm going to a camp, when I go to a camp or something, I'll pick some cedar. Don't really know why sometimes, but then when I get there, okay, that's why I had to pick this. So I use it there. I share that there. Yeah, smudging, like if you burn sage, you can sprinkle this on top. It doesn't have to be ground up, you can strip the needles off. And some people will get, if they got a fire going, pick up one of those coals. I'll pick it up literally, but but you put it on let's say you put it on a grandfather rock or whatever, or anyway, and then you can burn those on top, or even a little fire, you can burn the fresh cedar right on top, and then it smokes, Look after it, like I say, I use cardboard box. I put them in cardboard boxes, let them dry, and then I just put mine aside, keep an eye on it. I'll let it dry there for maybe a week, 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, but I won't check up on it. I turn it over so everything dries and spread it out a little more. If I got it spread out like this, I'll turn it around so it dries out evenly. It just doesn't dry on top. So you give yourself that time. If you look after it, it's going to look after you. I'll just throw it in a corner, expect the needles to fall off by themselves. Some people have that perception. But you look after it, you take care of it, it's going to take care of you at the end. Look after it. And then once you figure they're dry enough, you can test it. If they're dry enough, you can strip them off the branches. And like I say, for me, I'm meticulous. I'm just after the needles, and because I know I'm going to grind them up after. So I try and take all the branches off, the ones that I might not be able to grind up. But some people just leave them like that. That's the way I am. I look after my medicines that way. Because I know they're going to look after me. So it does take time to process it. There one day to go and harvest, and bring it home, prepare it, so it dries properly, and just kind of keep an eye on it. I don't even leave. I don't have a dog. I don't leave it laying around where animals or anybody or even somebody walk over it. Like, I have a lot of daughters and granddaughters, and I said, don't walk over that medicine. They respect that because I talk to them about it, and I tell them, no, you don't step over anything like that. But I raised them up that way, not to step over even clothing. The same thing with medicine, they don't step over. I said, that is sacred. That's how I treat that. And cedar, teaches me to be respectful. That's what it teaches me, respect. The previous one, the sage, teaches me humility. We might have different teaching for Carl, or somebody else. But that's what it did, to be a humble person. So that's why I burned that sage. To try and be humble. And then the cedar, be respectful. Kindness, sweetgrass is kindness. That's the teachings I have with them. Like I say, everybody could be different. But in the end, they're all the same. Individually, or you're going to use them all together.
All together.
I made a smudge with all these 4 medicines. The cedar, the sage, the sweetgrass, and tobacco. I mixed them together. Make a minakasigan, smudge. You can use them as and then you can burn them. You can burn that sage and you can burn them all together on top. So if your main medicine is sage that you burn all the time, you can combine these 3 together because you use the sage already, and then you can burn the other 3 on top of that, or vice versa. So it's all up to each individual. If your main medicine is sweetgrass you use, or if it's sage, mix those other ones together, and then you have all four. You partner them up with that main medicine you use. Well, everybody's different. And like I say, those 4 needles and 4 of them you can mix together. And you can put them in the medicine water, and then you get all the benefits of all of it. Yeah, everybody, like I say, everybody does differently, but in the end, it's all the same. You're using them in a good way. Yeah, so that's cedar.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay, so I'd like to thank you, Fred.
Yeah.
For
Take a break.
for
We'll do little
Yeah.
teaching.
okay. So I'll just say something
Yeah.
about this. First, so thank you again, Fred, for doing the teachings on the 4 medicines. I hope that some of your students get a better idea and a better understanding of how these medicines, how they're supposed to be treated, how they're supposed to be looked after, and how to use them. So the main thing for all the medicines is to respect them, right, Fred?
Right.
Respect them all and
Look after them.
Okay. So once again, I hope that you can take something and use this in your own personal life. That'll help you in your journey, as you go to school, at home, with your family, whatever way, to take care of yourselves. So with that, I'd like to thank you again, Fred, for the wonderful teachings on the medicines.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Oh.